I do recall Donald Trump saying he promised to figure out the truth and let everybody know. And we all know that guy's a blabbermouth. Like, he cannot stop talking. He will talk and tweet about every single thought that comes to his head. So you can guarantee that if he figured out that there were UFOs, that would be it, he'd be tweeting about that immediately.
Maybe it's not aliens. It could still be something that's, a heavily guarded secret that might be weird and out there. It could be like a weird journey to the center of the earth kind of underground hominid or something that they're experimenting on.
We are absolutely not sponsored by Black Butte Porter or Blue Moon, but if either company that if they want to provide us with a whole bunch of free beer, we will happily drink it on air and promote it. I'm not sure, and who knows? Maybe because of the weird research they do there, they don't need guns anymore. Maybe they have some kind of strange technology that can just like boom, obliterate everybody instantly. So that's the thing we got to think about. Look, this is going to be a PR nightmare if we just slaughter tens of thousands of people because they're running towards a fence or something like that. That is a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's going to incite some kind of rebellion. Like they definitely don't want that. So maybe, they might just move a few things and hide a couple things and be like, hey, come on in. I guess, I guess you got us here.
Yeah, the military's all geared up for 100,000 people coming to Area 51, and instead 10,000 people raid 10 ICE concentration camps.
It's kind of a silly idea to just run towards a military base and let everybody know in advance.
Yeah.
Unless, wait, what if they know that the military is going to think what you just said? And so the military's like, oh yeah, well, they're totally planning on just raiding a bunch of ICE facilities or some other base or something like that. Because this is obviously a ruse designed to get us to put our forces into Area 51. And then they're like, yeah, whatever. So they don't. And then people actually show up to Area 51 and they're unprepared. See, so it could go any which way.
I was just going to say, like, I'm always thinking like a ninja, but you just started thinking like a samurai right there. So. Welcome to another kitchen sink microscopy. I'm Casey Rochford.
And I'm Eric Rosenblatt. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, stick around to the end of the video because we write our own music and there's going to be a song at the end. So stick around for that. I think today, this is something that's coming up kind of soon. And you've probably heard about it, Casey, that there's I think it's organized on Facebook, but there's a group of people talking about storming Area 51 to try to uncover the truth about the aliens or something.
Yeah. Well, actually, at the time of this airing, that's happening today. And I've been following this for a while, and it kind of petered out a little bit. But there's still the occasional murmur about it, over time. And it's obvious to me that it started as a joke, but I think it kind of became something real.
Yeah. In fact, I think the guy that started it did start it as a joke. And then he's like, this is serious now.
I mean, like the plan included like Naruto running. Is that what it was called?
Yeah, that whole like running with your hands behind your back or something. I don't follow anime enough to know, but it's an anime thing from Naruto. Um, yeah, and I don't know how they expect to gain anything by that, but I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
I, so I mean, what I guess there's a couple different things to talk about. I think we should address the idea of Area 51 in general, like kind of talk about that, and then talk about the plausibility of such an escapade, and the implications of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, what do you know about Area 51, just in general?
I know nothing about Area 51.
Neither do I. Wait, look here. Oh wait, that's a beer bottle. That's not a pen. The neuralizer. Yeah. So what are your what's
Product placement.
so what do you know about the
Drink
that location?
Black Butte Porter.
Oh, that's some good stuff. Yeah, I've got a Blue Moon today. We are absolutely not sponsored by Black Butte Porter or Blue Moon, but if either company that if they want to provide us with a whole bunch of free beer, we will happily drink it on air and promote it. So yeah.
There's our unsolicited live ad.
Yeah.
So I mean, this was near Roswell, right, where the supposed flying saucer went down or whatever, right?
Well, I think it's a little ways away. So this is Area 51's well, for a long time it was not a published military base. They pretty much denied the existence of it, and since it's now kind of accepted. But it's a location called Groom Lake, which is a dry lake bed in Nevada, and it's basically a military test facility. I think the U-2 spy plane was tested there. SR-71, probably F-117, some other exotic military vehicles were tested there. But there's this theory that people have that's going around. It's been going around for, I don't know, half a century or something, probably, that they do more than just test military vehicles there, that they have acquired by various means one or more alien craft, and they're doing experiments on it or trying to reverse engineer it at this location. So
well, yeah, I don't know what to think about that, because we've done an episode on UFOs, and I think where I kind of landed with that is I think there wouldn't really be a way to keep it secret, especially for this long, like maybe a couple of years, but there's been so many different presidents in and out. Didn't Ronald Reagan end up with Alzheimer's? Like, there's a good chance he would have just let it slip. Like,
well, and here's the funny thing:
there's aliens. Like,
Well, yeah, exactly. And there's people that say that he subtly did let it slip through a couple of different statements he made, but I think that's kind of stretching things. However, I do recall Donald Trump saying he promised to figure out the truth and let everybody know. And we all know that guy's a blabbermouth. Like, he cannot stop talking. He will talk and tweet about every single thought that comes to his head. So you can guarantee that if he figured out that there were UFOs, that would be it, he'd be tweeting about that immediately. And
if anyone even tells him, like, for all we know, Donald Trump is basically like the little toddler sitting on the lap, holding the steering wheel and thinking he's driving, but it's really not.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Bernie Sanders on the Joe Rogan show said that he would do the same thing. So
I heard about that. Yeah.
I mean, that would be interesting. I think there might be some kind of secret something or other. I don't know. I mean, I got mixed feelings about all that, but having seen some stuff, I think there's something going on, but what it is, I don't know. And Does our government even know about it or not? I don't know. But
Yeah.
that's the theory. Area 51 houses aliens, maybe underground alien base or something like that, and they study alien technology and try to reverse engineer it. And some of these ideas may have stemmed from a guy named Bob Lazar, who, like in the 90s or late 80s or something, he came out and said a whole bunch of things like that he was a contractor working at Area 51, or well, not at Area 51, but a facility nearby, and he was tasked with reverse engineering some of this technology, and he had all kinds of details and stuff. But I don't know, his whole story is a little weak in a way. There's some holes. However, he did create the one of the coolest companies out there, United Nuclear. Everybody should check it out. It's a website. I don't know. We'll just do a search for United Nuclear. They sell like cool stuff, so like scientific stuff and gadgets and weird things with like uranium ore and stuff and glow in the dark things, and it's a cool thing. But that guy, yeah, he said he worked there and tried, kind of was like, oh, I'm revealing all these secrets, and I think that could be the genesis of this story.
Yeah.
I'm not, my memory is not too clear about that location earlier than that time, so I think it's
I
possible.
mean, maybe it's not aliens. It could still be something that's, a heavily guarded secret that might be weird and out there. It could be like a weird journey to the center of the earth kind of underground hominid or something that they're experimenting on, or
No, that's
like it,
true.
it could be something weird that's not aliens, and it could very well just be the newest plane. And now they're probably, see, here's the thing, they gave like a couple months notice on Facebook, so whatever's hidden there ain't gonna be hidden there anymore.
Well, it's a really good point. Yeah.
They're gonna move
I,
that shit right away.
I mean, maybe some of it's a little bit difficult. Yeah, certainly there's some secret things going on there, and probably some exotic things. It's guaranteed. Obviously, it's not just like an open place where you can go on a tour. So clearly, there's something secret going on. Um, but is it aliens? I don't know. I doubt it. And plus, here's the thing: that information has been out there for so long, and there are so many other secret military bases out there. I think by now, especially by now, like you'd said earlier, with these people saying, well, we're going to have like 100,000 people rush the place. I'm pretty sure it's moved, but probably decades ago, if anybody, let's say there were aliens or something, all that stuff is probably in a different location now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's a completely hopeless endeavor in my view. And, well, like, again, like you said, they gave a lot of notice. So there's probably a pretty sizable military force there now waiting. Um, Even if it's just some kind of little thing where a bunch of anime fans running up Naruto style, thinking they're going to dodge bullets or something like that, uh, it it does represent a threat to national security in their view. I'm sure.
Yeah, well, here's the thing: if just one guy decides he's going to take it really seriously and brings a gun, they're instantly just going to open fire on the whole crowd.
Yeah, and
I mean,
and
maybe they'll be nice enough to have snipers there, but I mean, this is an Air Force base. I don't know if they're going to bring in the whole squad or not. But
I'm not sure, and who knows? Maybe because of the weird research they do there, they don't need guns anymore. Maybe they have some kind of strange technology that can just like boom, obliterate everybody instantly. So that's the thing we got to think about. I am curious what's there. It's been something that's kind of been on my radar for a long time. Being a conspiracy nut, I've been fascinated with that location and the stories around it, but I think it's kind of stupid to try to just rush it like that. And
yeah,
what happens if they go in there and there are no aliens and there's just a bunch of scientists and engineers and people just like building aircraft or something. And then what? You know,
Right.
what if
Yeah.
there's nothing there? You've just busted into a military base.
If they don't die, they're going to Guantanamo Bay for the rest of their lives.
Well, or at the very least, hefty fines and probably prison time. You know, because that's not a light matter. Now, I am a big fan of not or of unveiling state secrets. I don't think that, you know, here's the thing. If they can have secrets, we can too. And if we can't have secrets, neither can they. Except
Yeah.
in limited situations. There are definitely times where things need to be kept under wraps, but I do think it's important for secret things to be known.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we are such a world power, like miles ahead of everyone else. There's really no point to be that secretive anymore. Like, really, nobody's going to get a one up on us. Like, we we're we've got tendrils everywhere in the world. Like
yeah,
there's no taking us down. You know, it's I think my biggest thing from this is like they've got a couple choices here. If people take this seriously and actually storm it, they could just be like, hey, yeah, no, just come on in. You don't need to storm anything. We've got no secrets. We'll show you around. You know, we'll have a few redacted documents or whatever. You understand, but you know, you can see the facility. You can see that it's not designed for, you know, like, you know, they could appease people if there is in fact nothing to hide.
yeah.
I don't really see that as being something that they would do.
Well,
But
actually, that thought had occurred to me. I think that might actually happen if they get enough people.
yeah, I mean,
They
that's
might
the
be like,
most.
look, this is going to be a PR nightmare if we just slaughter tens of thousands of people because they're running towards a fence or something like that. That is a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's going to incite some kind of rebellion. Like they definitely don't want that. So maybe, yeah, they might
Well,
just move a few things and hide a couple things and be like, hey, come on in. I guess, you know, I guess you got us here, and
well,
walk people around and they can look at it.
that sets kind of a dangerous precedent on their part, though, because then, you know, we would just start demanding that of any secret that the government is holding. And
Maybe we should.
I mean, yeah, maybe we
You
should.
know?
I mean, we probably should. But you mentioned the word rebellion, and I think that's the big thing is they're going to flex their muscles because they don't want us to think, oh, look, we actually successfully got into a military base. We could still rebel. You know, we could still take our government, and they should be afraid of us. And the government wants us to be afraid of them. So they're going to flex their
True.
muscles. Like, I think
Well,
that's like the 99% probability is they're going to shoot people.
maybe, but you know, this might be a kind of a 4D chess kind of thing where you know there's a lot of variables here, and you make the wrong decision and it backfires, and they might know that. So I'm really, to me, I'm less interested in what these people, let's say they did just like bust down the chain link fences and rush over the minefields. Let's say there are any, um, run past the guards, dodge bullets, you know, with their arms out. And you know, I'm less interested in what they find and far more interested in what the response is going to be.
Yeah.
You know, how do you respond to a thing like that? So I'm really, really interested in what happens.
I mean, they've flat out said they will use lethal force.
Well,
So
that's the
I mean,
thing,
that's their statement, at least.
and there is precedent for that. As far as I know, at least one person was shot trying to get into Area 51. However, most of the encounters are peaceful because a lot of their security is not actually military; it's private contractors, and they kind of just shoo people out and muscle them around a little bit and kind of scare them and stuff, and then they're just like, hey, get out of here. um, but every once in a while somebody actually does get shot and killed, for going into the wrong place.
Hmm.
So if one person randomly coming into Area 51 gets shot and killed, what are thousands of people what's going to happen to them?
Yeah.
And you know, we're probably finding out right now. So
Yeah.
you know, I could probably Yeah. But I think it's a stupid idea. I'll just lay that down. Like, I think this is a dumb idea, and especially to let it out and let people know. I mean, what do you think's going to happen? For months, they have months to prepare, and we're talking about the U.S. military.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if I'd be so quick as to call that a dumb move, because during the Civil War, uh, the Confederate Army was greatly outnumbered, and uh, what was it, General Lee? He he made these weird tactical moves. He would split up his tiny army and send them to places that were like certain suicide. And Lincoln got wind of where they were going, and he's like, what are they doing? And he would divert troops that were on their way to like slaughter their main base and whatnot, and he'd be like, well, I guess we better take care of these guys. And then he would kind of like divert them at the last minute, or send a few of them into battle or whatever, and just make it look like he was completely nuts. But he was being pretty transparent about where he was going and what he was doing, and he was using it as kind of a subterfuge. And in this modern era, that might be the way that you do that, is with social media. You put your plans out in the open. At the last minute, you change it up. Like, maybe this really is a way to mask like rushing the ICE concentration camps or something, because
Or
that has been mentioned.
some other military base. Yeah, this is definitely like some Sun Tzu stuff, Art of War. If indeed that is the case.
Yeah, I mean, it very well could be. Like,
yeah,
I've heard crazier conspiracy theories than that.
Exactly.
Wouldn't that be funny if the people made the conspiracy this time? Like,
yeah, that would be. It's an interesting idea. So, yeah, I'm really curious. What if they go to somewhere else? Yeah, that's totally possible. Get the military to anticipate some kind of giant assault from Naruto running people.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't even happen. There's like two guys that show up.
Yeah.
They're all over here somewhere, like 1,000 miles away, doing something different.
Yeah, the military's all geared up for 100,000 people coming to Area 51, and instead 10,000 people raid 10 ICE concentration camps.
Well, that could totally happen. Yeah. And I guess it's a good thing that this is we're recording this in advance of this and not releasing it before, so we don't tip anybody off to any kind of like alternative ideas. Although they've probably thought about it. There's some,
the government's listening right now, I'm sure.
Yeah. The idea that military intelligence is an oxymoron is kind of not really true. There's a few people out there that know what they're doing. But then that's a good point. And so maybe, because you might be onto something, because if you think about it, it's kind of a silly idea to just run towards a military base and let everybody know in advance.
Yeah.
Unless, wait, what if they know that the military is going to think what you just said? And so the military is like, oh yeah, well, they're totally planning on just raiding a bunch of ICE facilities or some other base or something like that, because this is obviously a ruse designed to get us to put our forces into Area 51. And then they're like, yeah, whatever. So they don't, and then people actually show up to Area 51 and they're unprepared. See, so it could go any which way.
I was just gonna say, like, I'm always thinking like a ninja, but you just started thinking like a samurai right there. So. Always what I proposed was totally a ninja thing to do, but that was a samurai thing.
Always one step ahead. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would love to know. While I don't think there's any alien, well, the probability of there being a bunch of alien stuff in Area 51 being disassembled and looked at and studied and rebuilt, the probability is pretty low. I'm not going to say it's not there, because I do think it's possible. But I am really curious as to what is going on there. And if there's a bunch of people live streaming it, it would be pretty entertaining to watch just to see what the hell is going on. Because it's kind of a shadowy place that nobody knows much about what they do there. I think that the only public thing that I can think of that came out of that area, there was a lawsuit because a bunch of people that work there got sick from exposure to something, and so they sued, and that was the only, I think, as far as I know, that's the only public thing. But of course it is like, oh, we can't have anybody knowing any information, so all of the court documents are heavily redacted, of course, under wraps.
Wait, didn't some stuff get like declassified? Because it's like, obviously it's no longer a threat to national security like 50, 60 years later. Like you can unredact that stuff now. Like,
yeah,
why don't they just put that out and be like, look, nothing happened? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think some of it might be. It's been a little while since I've looked it up. I have other priorities now, but
yeah,
I think they kind of want to maintain that area as a secret facility, and maybe not let people know the full extent of what's gone on there. I know that some things are released, like the fact that the U-2 spy plane was tested there and things like that, but that was that was a long time ago. So it's, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm really curious. Again, I'm like super curious to see the reaction, like what actually happens and how many people actually are going to show up to this thing. Because I think, yeah, everyone behind a screen, on the internet, they're all hella brave and like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. But then when you put a gun in their hand and go ahead, people kind of chicken out a bit.
I seriously hope people don't bring guns to this, because that's not going to make things better.
No, and you that's not the approach you would want for that. I mean, unless you were actually intending to take it over, that's when you want to bring guns. But I think they just want to uncover facts.
Yeah.
And again, from a moral high ground standpoint, if nobody was armed and they ran into this place and they just got shot and killed and mowed down by a bunch of soldiers, well, who's going to be the bad guy? It's going to be a soldier. Bunch of unarmed people come running in, you just killed them, you look terrible. So yeah, I totally agree. Like the right course of action is to just essentially be nonviolent, well, as nonviolent as you can be, running head first into a military base.
Yeah, now that I think about it, like it is the government's duty to serve the people, and if we're pissed off enough that we demand to know what the hell is going on, like we've got the right to know whether or not there's aliens. They should at least be doing some kind of compromising, like, hey, we'll release XYZ things. Will that make you happy? Well, like, because really, if this does come to a boil, you're right. There's going to be some really bad PR. Like, if people start, I don't want to see us get to like a Vietnam place where we hate soldiers, and
No.
that could easily happen if they mowed down a bunch of unarmed people that were just rushing the base. Like, I understand you can't arrest them all, like, unless you had like all of the military there, which would just be a tactical taboo. Like, no.
Yeah, you need probably like at least one, if not more, soldiers per person rushing the place. So you're talking like hundreds of thousands of soldiers hanging out.
Like honestly, if 100,000 people rushed a military base, like, to seriously take it over, we would absolutely win. We would do it.
Oh, even without arms, you
Yeah.
could do it with just, you could Naruto run your way into that shit.
Yeah, like sheer forces, unless they nuked us, like, I mean, they could mow down a lot of people, but
Yeah,
like
but
that would be
think
a
about it.
serious PR nightmare if they
Yeah,
killed 10,000, 100,000 people. Like,
well, how would they nuke a force attacking a military base? That means nuking your own military base.
oh, they just raised their alien shields.
Exactly. Well, and maybe they might be working on something like that. And that's the thing. Like, it may not be alien technology, but it could be alien to us. It could be strange things. I mean, you've seen some of the stuff that, like, the DARPA projects going on. It's like there are some things that we don't know about, and I think yeah, I mean, well, it's nice to have a technological military advantage. There is a limit to state secrets in that regard. I think you're right. Like, if enough people say, "Hey, we demand to know what's going on," I think they should at least acknowledge and provide something. Like again, it goes back to what you were saying in the beginning. Maybe the thing to do is just instead of having a bunch of soldiers around when these 100,000 or 50,000 or even like 5,000 people, because somebody's going to show up. Um, Maybe they should just have a tour. Say, hey, you know what? Like, hide all the stuff that they don't want people to see, important stuff, because you could do that, and just
Mhm.
say, hey, okay, well, hey, you know what? You guys win this round. Come on in. You can check it out and show people around, and maybe it'll just. The thing is, maybe that's the solution. That's the 4D chess move. Like, you say, come on in, and it's something completely mundane with a bunch of people like mixing chemicals and working on motors or something like that, and it's super boring. And they're like, wow, that was dumb. What a waste of my time and my money to come down here to just see a bunch of engineers sitting around looking at computers. And then that's it. And nobody cares about Area 51 anymore. End of
Yeah.
story. Like, it just disappears forever. And then all of a sudden you wheel out the flying saucers and the dead alien bodies, and you're like, all right, no one's ever going to ask questions again. Stranger things have happened. So
Yeah. Yeah. Government and people at Area 51. Naruto when the walls fell.
yeah, Star Trek Next Generation, Dharma. We're gonna have to do an episode soon about our favorite episodes of Star Trek.
Yep.
That might, we tend to, not get too animated emotionally, but that might actually be the one episode where we yell at each other.
Very possible. I think we should bring a guest on for that one. That would be fun.
Yeah, that would be good.
Wouldn't it be cool? The perfect guy.
Nice. Wouldn't it be cool if it was like somebody actually from the show?
That would be.
We're a little too small for that right now.
Yeah. Hey, CBS, if you want to plug this new Picard show coming out, maybe send Sir Patrick Stewart over.
Yeah, George Takei, we can have him on. There's some people around. That'd be fun. Maybe we could have him.
Oh my.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Man, this is definitely gonna be interesting. I mean, I have quite a few thoughts on this, but I think again, a lot of the conspiracy theories about Area 51, I think, might be, as much as I'd like them to be something kooky spooky, I'm pretty sure it's just something mundane, like they're developing, well, otherwise secret military technologies, and testing them in this facility. It makes sense too. I mean, if you think about it, if you're testing aircraft or whatever, you don't want to be around an area that's very public, or if there's some kind of bad accident, you don't want a bunch of people around where you're going to kill them if your plane crashes or your weird hyperdimensional propulsion system creates a mini black hole and sucks in the nearest 100 miles of land, like whatever they're doing down there. So yeah, I think it's honestly, I think Area 51 does just altogether terrestrial, pedestrian kind of typical secret military stuff. Um, there may be something out there somewhere, but it's not in that location.
Yeah.
So, and I, the area around it, I think, probably doesn't help matters because they kind of hype the whole idea that there's aliens there. There's the nearest town or nearest couple towns, like everything is alien this, alien that. There's even a place called the Little Alien that's a little motel there, and I
They
get it.
name streets like something tongue in cheek, also. Like,
Yeah, and honestly, I gotta give them props for that. That it brings tourists in. Like,
yeah,
that's what I would do if I had a tiny little town. I'd capitalize on that. Like, why not?
yeah,
And maybe it's good fun. It's definitely good fun, and it's a lot of fun to think about these things. And I if I had a shirt that said "I want to believe," I'd be wearing it right now. But I do want to believe. Um, I think there's a thing going on, but not there. And I urge people, be careful. Like, don't die over this. Like,
yeah.
this is
Maybe, maybe start smaller. Like, why don't you go storm the Olympic National Forest and discover Bigfoot? Yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah, we
there's
should
no
talk.
military base there, so it's a
Yeah,
little safer.
but unfortunately, Bigfoot isn't as big a topic. I think.
What if Bigfoot's got the really cool technology? He
Yeah.
walks around naked because he wants to, you know?
Well, what if Bigfoot's an alien? Ooh.
Yeah, ooh, ooh.
Mm-hmm.
What if?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm like, I can't wait to see how this turns out. I have a feeling, just like many of these things, there's going to be like maybe 100 people that show up or something like that, and they're kind of like, well, we can't possibly storm a military base with this small of numbers. And they just kind of stand around and take pictures and they take selfies, like, look at me, I'm in Area 51, and then they walk away.
Or play D&D in the sand.
Yeah, exactly. And that's probably, I kind of hope for that, honestly, because if they actually do that, the the thing is, the military's not stupid necessarily in this regard. They're going to be ready for it. I mean, it's a credible threat, and there will be dudes with guns, and probably more, probably things that we don't even know about, some sort of killing technology that we have no idea exists. It's probably being developed in Area 51. Who knows? But yeah, don't do it. It's definitely not worth it.
Yeah, I think that's a good moral of the story. Even though by the time this airs, it's probably too late. So if anything tragic happened, our condolences. And
We tried to warn you, but sadly, we were a little behind the times in that regard. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, I I guess that's probably a good place to wrap up. And
Yeah, and
yeah.
I want to hear people's thoughts on Area 51 and this whole thing, like, or things like it. Um,
If you survived it, maybe you should talk about it.
oh, good idea. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Tell us your experiences, because I really want to hear about it. I'm pretty fascinated by that kind of thing. And, people, and if you've worked there, you can send me a private message about that, and I'd love to talk to you about it. Just saying. Um, there's never mind. Um, yeah, and I'd like to hear people's thoughts on this thing: UFOs, Area 51, secret government facilities, like state secrets, if they should even exist, like whether this kind of tactic to uncover the secrets is the right way to go. You know, whether the Naruto run can actually help you avoid getting shot, because there are people who insist that it can. So, you know, anything goes. Just comment, like, share, subscribe, you know, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you want to do, you know. Just keep the conversation going. And thanks for Deep Sync diving with us about Area 51.
Let's storm Area 51.
Yeah, go!